Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to J-Tech Studios Network. Today we're going to do Charlie Kirk's 5 best fact checks of 2024. That's Charlie Kirk sitting down, debating with people. That's healthy for us as citizens to be able to sit across from somebody with opposing point of views and have a civil debate of why you feel your point of view outweighs theirs. That way it can lead us to a better society. That's my belief. I think we shouldn't run away from these debates. We should engage in them more often in a respectful manner. So without further ado, we got for you Charlie Kirk's 5 best fact checks of 2024. Let's go.
So you're okay with expanding the military as it is part of the government?
No, actually. By the way, one of the reasons that we're here is because Kamala Harris is a warmonger who wants to send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine while our own border remains wide open, and 320,000 kids are missing in sex trafficking because of your preferred candidate, Kamala Harris. Are you worried about those 320,000 missing kids?
Of course I'm worried about children. However, I don't believe that the vice president is responsible for that.
She's in charge of the border. She took credit for the border. She's the border czar. Joe Biden said this is who's in. She was said, I am in charge of the border. How has she done it doing that, by the way? Has she done a good job managing the border?
I honestly disagree with all of the past administrations on their border policies personally.
Okay, but do you think she's done a good job?
No, I don't think anybody's done a good job.
Can you really disagree without having an opinion that you can articulate that would be better to control the border? If you disagree with all the past presidents' handling of the border, but you can't articulate yourself what would be a better policy to control the border and the people coming across the border, should you really even be able to say that? I guess you can disagree with it, but at least contribute something to it.
I can fix the border.
I know you could.
I shut that son of a bitch down.
You do what you did in here just a second ago. You blowing that smoke all over the border, you'd be crop dusting all those farm border town farms.
However, there was an incredible, very strict border bill that went into the Senate and was voted down because Donald Trump himself wanted it to be a voting issue.
He wasn't even in office to do anything about it.
It got shut down because there was a lot of fluff in it. Another country that didn't even have anything to do with our border.
And they always do that. They always do that. They make these bills. It's a border bill, and then they've got the vast majority of the money going towards something else.
There's literally quotes. There's literally quotes of people saying it.
So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but let me ask you: how many people would have been allowed to cross the border every day in the bill? Tell me.
It's in the tens of thousands.
5,000 people a day.
Yeah.
So that means.
I'm not against that.
Do you believe in borders?
I do believe in borders, but I'm not against limiting by a random number. That's a random number. So we need to pay attention to the context in which people are crossing the border, why they're doing
context.
that.
It's a random
So when someone
number.
robs a bank, if they're hungry, that's okay?
How about a well thought out number?
Say it again.
If someone is poor, should they be able to break into America?
That's not at all what I'm insinuating.
No, what's the context then? I don't understand.
Nobody's breaking into. When you're talking about legal border crossings.
No. These are.
You're talking about 5,000 a day legal border crossings.
No. These are not. These are illegal entries into the United States of America.
Do you know that there have been more arrests under this administration for people?
5,000 people a day comes out to in a year.
I would love to know. You got the math on that?
Oh yeah, it's
how much?
1,825,000 people a year.
If you do that, 1 million, how much? 1,800,000?
Yeah, 1,825,000.
So let's round it to 2. So at the end of your 4-year term, you'd have roughly 8 million, 7 to 8 million new people, which is enough to change voting blocks in states and stuff,
People crossing the border than there were.
Not to mention the crime and everything else, the taxpayers' money, this, that, and the other.
During Donald
Yeah, because there's more people coming across the southern border.
So context matters.
Yeah, 10 million people are illegal in the country.
So let me just ask one final thing. What is Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment?
Kamala Harris's greatest accomplishment? I think it depends on who you ask, but I would say...
Joy, for me.
Yeah, I would say it was cutting child poverty in half.
Child poverty?
She did that?
The Biden administration, her and Biden did that, yes. And that was...
Is that a thing?
How did she do that?
So the child tax credit basically from COVID.
Oh, you mean the one from the Trump tax cut?
It's not from the Trump tax cut.
Yeah, it is actually.
No.
Yeah, it's actually from the tax cut from December of 2017. The one that Kamala Harris is running against is the one that you're touting right now.
It's not the case at all,
let me just,
you can lie.
but no, I mean, you're just totally wrong.
I encourage everyone to look up the child tax credit right now on your phones.
Yeah, the child tax credit was part of the Trump tax cut.
And look on what bill it was passed. Look what year it was passed.
It was during it was 2017, literally. Donald Trump expanded the child tax cut credit in 2017.
So earlier, I heard you call Washington a den of thieves, which I fully agree with, keep in mind. I'm going to preface that immediately. Don't agree with Democrats. However, I want to know from you, and I want to get your opinion on, why is Donald Trump any different from all the other thieves that are in Washington right now, looting and pillaging the earnings of the working class?
It's a good question. First of all, he cut your taxes. Number 2, he made it easier for you to own a home. Number 3, we had no new wars, which I'm sure you care about. So this is important. He actually starved the beast of the military-industrial complex.
Starved it? Really?
Yeah. Did Russia invade Ukraine?
Yeah, they did.
Under Trump?
No, but they were probably going to do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
They've had a very big blood and soil thing going on in Russian politics for a while
this is
now.
important.
But every other president before him, Russia did take over territory.
Russia takes Georgia. Under Obama, under Bush, Russia takes Georgia. Under Obama, Russia takes Crimea. Under Biden, Russia takes the Donbass. Why is it that they didn't do anything for 4 years under Trump? I thought he was a Russian agent.
Well, I don't agree that he's a Russian agent.
No, for sure. I'm just being sarcastic, saying, why is it for 4 years Russia stopped all of their incursions when under Bush, Obama, and Biden, it was a all-you-can-eat buffet in the Russian hemisphere?
Probably something relating to Russian politics. I'm not sure.
Okay, no, but this is the point, is that the answer is that Trump was a peace president, unlike the den of thieves that are currently running this country.
I don't know if I would call a peace president someone who drops a Moab to kill terrorists in, where was it? It was ISIS, I believe, right? He just dropped a Moab on that mother... Which is pretty cool. Keep in mind.
No, I mean, I do want to ask a question. What is a terrorist?
A terrorist is someone who, well, commits terrorist acts, bombings, shootings.
Sure.
They're not a country.
So should those people be...
Well, if they're threatening the life of their fellow countrymen, then probably, yeah.
Okay, so we have no moral difference on that.
No, but I think it's interesting that you call him a peace president when he does that. You excuse this military action.
Hang on. So yes, I would consider that a peace president, even though he dropped the bomb on Homeboy, because he dropped the bomb on the head of the terrorist network. A terrorist network is to cause chaos, to kill people. They're anything and everything but peaceful. Therefore, taking out the head of a terrorist network would be considered peace, even though you were the one dropping the bomb on him. And no, he did not start. There were no wars that started under him.
Right.
But this dude's saying he dropped the bomb. I forget what the guy's name was, a part of the terrorist network, like the head of the terrorist network. And I would consider that a peaceful bombing, even though Trump gave the green light to take him out and he killed somebody who meant harm to so many others. That is peace, in my opinion. He brought peace to people because now that network shut down for a little bit until they get a new figurehead, which they will, and can't commit any acts of terrorism, which is the opposite of peace.
And call him a peace president, even though, I'm not saying that the target was not justified.
Yeah,
keep in mind.
Fair enough. No, but again, he did not start a new conventional ground war where every president in the last 40 years, including Reagan, has.
Peaceful bombing.
That's very noteworthy. And so you asked the question, what makes Trump different? I'll tell you one thing, which I think is important. If Trump was like all the rest of them, they would not have impeached him twice, indicted him 4 times, and he would not have to survive the assassination attempts that he has.
And he gives his money. He doesn't take the money for being president, the $400 and whatever $1,000 a year.
Something different about Trump.
Only president walked away broker in what he went in with.
Yep. Or face all these charges against him when he could have just said, you know what, I'm out, guys, drop the charges, and I'm out. And they would have dropped him in a heartbeat. But he stood up against, he still is, going into presidency.
Fight.
threatens to expose and uproot the entire cabal and the cartel that has been making everybody in this audience poorer and them richer.
The same cabal that allowed him to become a billionaire?
Is it, though? You got proof on that?
Well, him becoming a billionaire was building great hotels and buildings, not
off of a loan from his father.
Like $1 million.
Right.
What does it matter?
Okay.
Yeah. So like $1 million.
It's also, I mean, this is interesting. People criticize the loan. If I gave you $1 million, could you turn it into $5 billion?
Probably not.
So it's pretty talented for Trump to turn $1 million into $5 billion, yeah?
Well, when you come from a dynasty of businessmen, it's kind of expected you pick it up.
Okay, easy. Okay, I'm not going to get into that.
So
easy to minimize the success of entrepreneurs when people build nothing in their life. Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, it's 100%.
Hold on.
So,
calm down. You've talked this entire
but
time.
representation matters to you.
Oh, no, hold on. One second.
Every time his
How have the
stomach
Democrats
jiggles,
done
the
overseeing the
booty
black community the
cheeks.
last 40 years? Are they wealthier, richer, happier?
Everybody has
Booty
made
cheeks
mistakes.
jiggle.
What cycle do you think Republicans will nominate and elect their
Had to
first
point it out.
black Republican senator to serve
You know what's
in
interesting?
office?
I think skin color is irrelevant. Why do you care so much about it?
I just told you, buddy, it's not irrelevant because it doesn't matter
Well, hold on.
to you.
No, it's interesting though. But like, you say representation. You know what?
Representation
Stop it.
matters.
The only representation that matters is values, not skin color.
Oh, values. Right, Christian values are important to you because 100% of Republicans in Congress represent Christian values.
Bingo.
Black values are not important to Republicans because 0.001% of your representation.
Tell me very slowly so I can understand. What are black values?
I'm talking about the values of different communities.
No, tell me what they are. Educate me on what black values are.
That's you're picking a stupid.
You know what
part
black
of my-
values are? They're Christian because they're one of the most Christian populations in the country. That's what black values are.
And I was just wondering, without affirmative action, how do you think we can bring these people in to bring a variety of opinions?
Yeah, no, I
and
mean,
views?
just have a meritocracy, right? So you have 3 white men around you. You can see 1, 2, 3. So if one supports affirmative, no, it's okay. If one supports affirmative action,
right.
it would mean that you would be okay turning to those 3 men and saying, I deserve the position more than you based on something that doesn't matter more than something that does matter.
I feel like that's one facet of it that we're not also paying attention to is that people that are graduating from the same schools. They're graduating with the same degrees.
With lower test scores, though. Much lower. Every study of affirmative action, for example, the Harvard case showed that it was nearly 40% lower test scores for people of color versus their white male counterparts and Asian counterparts.
And so how
at
can
some point,
is that like why would that happen? Do you think
why?
it's yeah?
Why
What causes that? Do you think it's just because people of color are more stupid?
No,
or,
of course not.
Right.
I mean, people of color come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds that don't prioritize education as
so
much.
how do we
but
fix
that's
those socioeconomic statuses?
Right, that's an interesting point. Not should we try to penalize white males that are competent to go run our systems and our institutions. So those are 2 different things.
Right.
So what we're doing is our institutions are now becoming less excellent. Our country is not working like it used to because we basically told people that are very qualified and very competent that, sorry, we're not going to put a position for you here. For example, the U.S. Secret Service. Let me just give you one example, okay? We can all agree that protecting a president, whether it's Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, is super important, right? But now the Secret Service has said that we want to have 30% of all our agents be women, which, by the way, they have lower fitness criteria. So they have less pull-ups, less push-ups, slower mile time.
That's something that's due to your
hold on. Exactly. Yeah. No. But this is affirmative action, right? And so therefore, when
there's fields I don't think that's a good. One second. I just don't think that's a good example because women will never be as strong as men, at least genetically.
So that's an interesting question.
So I think it should be something that's more ideologically based.
Will women be as good at engineering as men, person for person?
Not necessarily, but
okay. Well, then, how is that different than the Secret Service example?
Well, the problem is that
because the male mind is wired different than the female mind. By the way, men will never be as good. Hold on, I'll prove it to you. Men will never be as good at counseling.
Let me make a point here. All right. So the woman that was supposed to be protecting Trump, short, heavy-set woman, out there looking like Barney Fife with her pistol.
Okay.
Okay. Do you think they would hire a short, fat man that did not know how to handle his pistol to protect the president?
No, I don't think they would. No. If it was a man, you would have to be over probably a certain height. Trump's tall, so they probably have regulations for the men. They got to be at least as tall or taller. You got to be at the gym every day. You got to know how to handle your weapon. You can't look shaky in the field. I mean, yeah, you're guarding a president, a former president.
I mean, that woman looked like Melissa McCarthy in a comedy.
She looked lost.
She looked like Melissa McCarthy in a comedy.
Yeah. She couldn't even holster her gun.
Right.
And it's like she's waving this gun around and everything's
like,
down. It's like, dude.
The whole crowd goes down every time she's like, what? Whoa! What?
Not only that, I mean, if you zoom in, she's not holding her gun like this.
No.
She's got the trigger.
Oh, that's scary. I didn't see that. That's scary as hell, man.
Dude.
She
didn't even know gun safety, bro.
Yes, they changed regulations for women for a lot of things. The military, they have to carry. They can carry less weight than a man.
Yeah, but to be a Secret Service.
I don't know why she was on the detail anyways. I mean, she's more for a Secret Service detail of guarding somebody less important than a former president about to be or could be the next president.
A man in the Secret Service has got a Vin Diesel Rock type of build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And attitude. Yeah, he's a Vin Diesel thinking type.
To have a little short 5'6" woman that's heavy set that is insane to me.
Well, I mean, she's protecting a president that's what, 6 foot up?
Well, Trump is tall. He's 6 something. Yeah, so
she should have never been up.
That alone, if you're having to hover over a president to protect headshots and stuff, that alone, if you're below his height, should
even if it was.
Well,
a man.
I mean, even when
a man, yes.
Even when the men were hustling them out, and they had the one woman, she was ducking.
Yeah, that one when the shots first started ringing out and they all jumped on him.
Yeah,
that one girl was like crawling across the stage or something. She should have thrown herself on top of the pile and covered a potentially shootable area.
Or psychology sessions as women. Men will never be good at nursing or elementary school education as women. We have certain giftings because our brain is wired a certain way. Women are far better gifted at micro topics, so individual connection, empathetic type conversations, healing people that past trauma and wound. Men are much better at
which is why a lot of women end up as teachers and nurses and
I'm gonna point out, I'm not trying to body shame anybody, but it even goes back to when that transsexual was suing Hooters. There's a body type that you're supposed to have to do these type of positions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you got one of those tough women that are tall and they've got muscles,
cool,
yeah,
no problem.
Because you can handle what your job
responsibility
and what your
is.
responsibilities is. So why would they put a short, fat girl?
I'm not sure.
As a Secret Service.
Why? The same reason, guys, that we're talking about. We're talking about the Butler shooting, where the bullet clipped the top of Trump's ear as he turned to look at the graft just at the nick of time, and it's the same reason why the Secret Service did not head of the Secret Service in charge of that event never came down to talk to the cops like he was supposed to link the Secret Service and the cops out in the field. The reason why a little kid was able to jump on a roof, and he had a rangefinder on him, and they knew about the rangefinder. They didn't keep eyes on him, tabs on him. The same reason he was jumping. You can see the video of him running across the roof, jumping around. Same reason the Secret Service on the other roof didn't take the shot. Same reason the roof that he let the assassin shot from, there was no Secret Service on that roof, and there should have been. But the director of the Secret Service, who also it was a woman, who was a woman, which I'm not saying a woman can't be head of Secret Service, but she most certainly not have been. Said the roof was too slanted to put a Secret Service member on. Then come to find out that roof was way less slanted than the roof that the Secret Service snipers were actually on. I mean, there's
less of a slant than a wheelchair ramp.
Less slanted than a wheelchair ramp. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. And I guess the true answer is that somebody was out to get them, and somehow, some way, they were able to they probably knew what this kid was up to. They probably had a tell on him from the beginning, and they probably allowed him onto that roof through chaos and not connecting with the men on the ground to stop it. You know, people saw him. They were screaming, hey, there's a shooter on the roof. There's a shooter on the roof. Nobody, they couldn't find him. They kept running around, you know, and trying to look up there. And, you know, why didn't they have a drone? Why was there no drone technology? You know, 2, 3, 4 drones flying around Butler, that particular area, looking for snipers as well. You know, there's so much messed up.
On the watchtower.
So my answer is that they wanted it to happen. They chose her because she was incompetent, just like the head of the Secret Service, just like, you know, all the other people who fumbled that particular situation.
Macro topics, right? Trying to build a building, put a skyscraper up, trying to talk geopolitics. And I'll prove it to you. When you go and you see 5 women eating lunch, they're probably talking about micro topics, conversations they had, relationships, friendships. Men, they're talking about politics, sports, or the stock market.
That's not necessarily true.
Oh, yes. You guys all agree, right?
I mean, there's a reason.
These are bimodal general truths, right? Of course, there's exceptions, but
it's not a general truth, though. I feel like women have the capability of having political conversations.
Of course they do, but it's not the general wiring or nature of women.
It's not. There's no wiring for your brain to like Donald Trump. Like that's not a real thing. I feel like.
But wait a second. But do you think that men and women are made different in our brains?
Certain things, but not necessarily. It doesn't like channel you to be a specific thing.
Like what things?
Well, like there's like specific wirings to, you know, like produce certain types of hormones, and that's like differences that are genetically.
So you don't think that men are more likely to like contact sports, more likely to enjoy football, UFC, hunting?
I think that's because of a societal norm in general. Like over a lot of time.
No, come on, you're smarter than that. That's not true. Well, hold on. So why is it
there's women that play football? So like you can't just say that.
And there are men that dress in drag, but those are not the general truth of it.
There you go, guys. That was Charlie Kirk.
Right, can you pull up Kirk?
Whoa. Got PBD up now. That was Charlie Kirk, 5 fact checks for 2024. If you don't listen to Charlie Kirk, but you like what you heard, he's got a lot more stuff that I've listened to that's, you know, they go way deeper, and it's, you know, very, very interesting to listen to that man talk. He's extremely smart. Yeah, I know you said you've been starting to watch him as well. Yeah, I mean, he's a great person to listen to. He makes a lot of sense when he speaks. But we said enough, I think, during the video, unless y'all got anything you want to add to this. No. All right, well, this is J-Tech Studios Network. Please hit the like, the subscribe button, ring the bell, and leave us a comment below. We love you, America, and we're out. Peace. Peace.